Bodybuilding is a great way for people to get in shape and look good. Hitting the gym on a consistent basis is also good for your long-term health. However, some people take bodybuilding a little too far. In order to achieve their goals, they resort to steroids and other substances to get them there. More often than not, this results in severe health consequences, including roid rage, damaged organs, and worse yet, even death. Today, we will be looking at 10 bodybuilders who took bodybuilding too far. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Number 10. Rich Piana. Rich Piana tried to push the limits of how big one can humanly get, transforming himself from an average bodybuilder to one whose monstrous proportions were just ridiculous to look at. Just looking big wasn't good enough for him. He wanted to be massive. Massive, though, doesn't suffice to describe how big he was at 6 feet tall and 309 pounds. Friendly by nature, the heavily tattooed bodybuilder's advice on life and bodybuilding to casual gym goers and hardcore bodybuilders alike drew millions to his YouTube channel and Instagram account every day. His wildly popular, bigger by the day workout programs, advice, and no-holds-barred philosophy on life is what made him popular with his millions of fans. He was also a successful businessman, opening and managing many businesses. One of the businesses he owned was a supplement company called 5% Nutrition, named after his iconic motto, being a 5%er, which he believed one should live their life by. Rich Piana's steroid abuse was well known. He would even talk about it to his followers on his YouTube channel. Although he himself took them, he strongly advised against the use of steroids. Sadly, he passed away due to steroid abuse after collapsing and being in a coma for 2 weeks. Number 9. Flex Wheeler. With 5 Arnold Classic Championships and 3 Mr. Olympia second-place finishes, Flex Wheeler is one of the greatest and most accomplished bodybuilders of all time. Unfortunately, he paid a big price for his success. In 1999, Wheeler discovered that he had focal segmental glomerulosclerosis, a form of kidney disease. Despite press speculation as to the cause of the failure, Wheeler pointed out that his condition is hereditary, although drug use probably accelerated its onset. Unfortunately, tragedy struck again when he lost his right leg due to a circulatory vascular system problem in 2019. It is largely believed that he developed the condition due to steroid abuse. Number 8. Andreas Moonsir. One look at Andreas Moonsir and you'd think that he was pulled straight from the action cartoons we watched as kids. Moonsir looked like a real-life action figure throughout his short life before he ultimately died in 1996 at the age of 32. What could possibly kill a man who looked like he could crush a human with his bare hands? The answer? Organ failure. When competing, in order to get an insanely low body fat percentage, he would use a variety of ergogenic aids, including large amounts of potassium-sparing diuretics, so as to look as lean and chiseled as possible. On the morning of March 12th, after months of stomach pain, Moonsir was admitted to the hospital. By 7 p.m., doctors had decided to operate to stop the bleeding from his stomach, but his liver and kidneys failed shortly afterwards. His condition at that point was too severe for a blood transfusion, and he unfortunately passed away the following morning. Number 7. Sally McNEIL. Sally McNEIL, aka Killer McNEIL, was an American female bodybuilder who had served in the United States Marine Corps at Camp Pendleton, reaching the rank of sergeant. However, just because her steroid use didn't translate into her winning any major competitions, doesn't mean she didn't suffer the side effects of roid rage. On the fateful night, February 14th, 1995, which was also Valentine's Day, after her husband, Ray, came home from the gym, the couple began to argue. While Ray was in the kitchen cooking dinner, Sally went into the bedroom and loaded her 12-gauge shotgun, came back into the kitchen, and shot Ray in the stomach. She then went back to the bedroom, reloaded again, returned, and fired a second shot into Ray's head. When police arrived, she did not put up a fight and calmly told the officers that she had shot her husband because he had abused her. Although her lawyers tried to use the alleged abuse she claimed she had suffered at the hands of her husband in court as to exonerate her, the jury was not swayed, especially because she has had a long history of violence, including beating up a woman who had an affair with her husband, and kicking a bouncer in the face and fighting with the policeman who then tried to arrest her. She was sentenced to 19 years behind bars. Number 6. Romero dos Santos Alves. Romero dos Santos Alves is a Brazilian bodybuilder who was obsessed with the idea of looking like the Incredible Hulk. Instead of doing it the proper way by lifting heavy weights over and over again, he tried to create a shortcut by injecting himself with a substance known as synthol, an enhancement used by some bodybuilders to round out their muscles and make them appear larger than they actually are. He got so carried away with the injections that instead of actually looking like a bodybuilder, he began to look more like an inflated balloon with giant tumors. His health obviously took a huge hit, which then forced him to drain his muscles of synthol and stop the madness. Number 5. Ruben Arzu. According to reports, Ruben Arzu, a 300-pound bodybuilder, was arrested after being confronted by a husband and a wife who were returning home from a party. The couple said that as they were coming onto their porch, they noticed Arzu sitting there, so they called the police and then confronted him. He then proceeded to violently beat them up. The woman suffered facial injuries and the man suffered severe head trauma. When the police arrived, it took 4 officers, 2 stun gun blasts, and 4 sets of handcuffs to restrain the 5'10", 300-pound bodybuilder. Arzu had been taking steroids and was believed to be under the influence of other drugs at the time of the assault. He was charged with attempted homicide and aggravated mayhem. Number 4. Dean WHARMBY. Dean WHARMBY was a bodybuilder who gorged on junk food and drank cans of energy drinks to gain weight. WHARMBY was left a shell of his former self after being diagnosed with severe liver cancer, which was caused by his excessive steroid abuse. His diet consisted of over 10,000 calories per day, and included burgers, pizza, bacon sandwiches, and 7 to 8 energy drinks, all so as to become a huge mass muscle monster. The coroner who examined his body commented on his death, "I find the balance of probabilities that in such a fit, health-conscious young man, the most probable cause of his liver tumors was the misuse of anabolic steroids." Furthermore, she warned, Dean's death and the precious loss of such a young life in such circumstances ought to send out a very clear message to all those involved in the bodybuilding and fitness industries. Use of anabolic steroids, which is apparently rife throughout, is not without inherent risk. Number 3. Greg Kovac. Gregory Mark Kovac was an American IFBB professional bodybuilder. In the late 90s, Greg Kovac was the largest pro bodybuilder. To give you an idea of just how big he was, he dwarfed some of the biggest bodybuilders, including the great Jay Cutler. According to Muscle Insider, he was 6'4", he had an off-season weight of 420 pounds, and his contest weight was 330 pounds. His arms measured 25 inches, his chest 70 inches, and his legs a colossal 35 inches. Although he retired in 2005, his lifelong abuse of steroids caught up with him and he died on November 22, 2013, in his Mississauga, Ontario condominium from heart failure caused by steroid abuse. Number 2. Mohammed Ben Aziza. Mohammed Ben Aziza grew up playing soccer throughout his childhood in France, and that was the reason he started working out in the first place. He enjoyed it so much that he chose bodybuilding as a career and started competing. He was wildly successful and went on to win 7 Grand Prix events from 1987 to 1992. But perhaps his biggest victory was beating 6-time Mr. Olympia Dorian Yates at the 1990 Night of Champions, thus earning him the nickname given to him by Joel Wiederman, Killer of Giants. He was found dead one night from an apparent heart attack in his hotel room in 1992. It is believed he died from injecting a diuretic into his body in order to compete in an upcoming show. The diuretic caused him to become severely dehydrated and was what led to the fatal heart attack. He was only 33. Number 1. Mike Matarazzo. Mike Big Guns Matarazzo was a bodybuilder who passed away at the young age of 48 due to complications associated with his lifelong abuse of steroids. Although he never won a professional show, the fans loved him. He was also a boxer before switching over to bodybuilding, and even won the 1985 Massachusetts Golden Gloves Light Heavyweight Championship. Just years before his passing, he spoke about the dangers of steroids, saying in an interview, "It has affected my whole life." So to all those guys who are on an eternal quest to have 21-inch arms and 20-inch calves, and who are so vain about their never say die attitude, I say, change your attitude. Worry about keeping that body of yours as healthy as possible, because it's going to have to last you not just through your next contest or to the end of your bodybuilding contract, but for a long time. And a long time for a human being is nothing. It goes by real quick, even quicker when your health is gone and you have nothing to stand on. And there you have it. The top 10 bodybuilders who took it too far and as a result suffered severe consequences. What do you think? Is the risk worth the reward or not? Let us know in the comment section below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a video.